I'm assuming you've seen the video that included this drawing, the one about single point perspective. If you haven't, please stop this one, watch that one first, and then come back here. So this should be relatively short, but following on the single point perspective, so let's think about those buildings on the side of the railroad track. If you have a building with a horizontal, with a vertical side, then it can be represented as a vertical line parallel to the vertical edge of the paper. And then you're going to have this side that has, if you were to extend the edges out, they would meet at a vanishing point on the horizon line. And then this would be true, for you can do that sort of fanning thing, right? Where the fanning out from the vanishing point, you can predict where other edges might be. With all of these parallel edges would point toward the same vanishing point. Through here, this is slightly pointing up to the vanishing point. Now, if you see, assuming this is a rectangular building, right? I mean, there could be some weird oddball shape, but let's not consider that right now. It's a rectangular building. You're seeing this face of the building from an angle, right? This part is a longer line than that part because this corner of the building is closer to you than that corner of the building. So that means you have to see some of this side of the building as well. You're not looking straight on at this, so you're looking at it from an angle, so you're going to see part of that side as well. But you don't know exactly what the angle is going to be, but what you do know is that whatever it is, these edges will converge if you extended them out. And sometimes they would be totally off the paper. If you extend these edges out, they will also be a vanishing point on the same horizon line. Why is that? The horizon line is your eye level. Your eye level does not change within a single drawing. So all the same things that are happening over there in terms of finding the locations of the edges of windows or whatever else you have going on here, and all of these parallel edges pointing down to the same vanishing point, but it's a second vanishing point, right? It's a vanishing point on the same horizon line, but it's not the same vanishing point that this side is going on, which is why this is called two-point perspective. And it's also sometimes called oblique perspective. Oblique means side. You're looking at the side of something. So that's it. Whatever else you draw, it's going to have vanishing points on this horizon line. If there were buildings that were twisted and turned other ways or floating in the air, they would still have these vanishing points on the horizon line, but they wouldn't necessarily be the same vanishing points. So this is 2 points for this one object. It's possible to have more than one in here. And then again, with the exception of the asterisk for 3-point perspective, which we haven't really talked about yet, and we won't talk about that much because it's unusual, all the vanishing points are going to fall on the horizon line. I'll keep this short and I'll refer you to the handout that I've included along with the assignment this time. They call it oblique perspective in the handout. They call 1-point perspective parallel perspective in the handout. Please look through the text and look over the images, and I hope that that will give you enough to help you to draw using this perspective system. The idea in this class is not to make you some great expert in perspective, nor to have you using rulers to construct perspective scenes. What I want you to be able to do is to look at the world and to identify the shapes you see and to draw those shapes, however imperfectly, on the page. So you want to be really responding to the shapes you see. This information about how things ought to work in perspective, in 1-point, 2-point perspective, this information, like the fact that you know that if the edge starts above your eye level, it's going to be pointing downward toward the horizon line. If it starts below your eye level, it's going to be pointing upward toward the horizon line. If it's exactly at your eye level, that's the only place at which the horizontal edge would be truly horizontal. This is information to help you check and correct your drawing, not something that I want you to use as the basis for creating your drawing. Later on, if that's what you want to do, you can. But right now, my big concern is that you're able to really train yourself to see the shapes in the three-dimensional world. So this is information that can help you to check what you see and to sometimes identify where there's a problem if something doesn't look right on your drawing.